I'm on. Lev, you see me? You hear me? You're muted. Lev, you're muted. Are all you people muted or you're on?
We hear you, Rabbi.
How are you? Look at that, Ranan. Long time no see. Nice to see you smiling. Okay.
Nice to see you, everybody.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yitzi, now we see you live. We're not sitting on a stone or something like that. Okay. All right. Am I on already? Is it time?
Yeah. Can you grab my headphones, John?
I think we're on already. Okay. Here we are. I just like to start off this year. There's something, a simcha, a long time no see.
Forget it.
Okay. I'd like to start off this year with something which we learned a few times, and I never thought that it would be relevant as it is this year. We learned this year also that one is not supposed to start the Seder until it's night already. Usually this issue is not an issue because we all go to shul and the Seder starts when you come home from shul. So you, what? Someone said something, I didn't hear you. All right, anyways, normally we come home from shul. By the time shul comes, we're already all finished davening. It's already Vaday nighttime. This year, everybody's going to be davening at home. Mitzvah Hashem, that shouldn't be the case. We should be davening in Yerushalayim. But if things happen as things look as of right now, Pider Chateva, and we're hoping that should change, B'mheira, people are going to be davening at home. That's what I imagine. And you have to know that even if you could start davening early, but you can't start the Seder until it's Vaday night. It's very important, especially people have little kids and their kids are going to be cranky, and your wife may remind you, we have these kids, maybe we should get the Seder started. You can't get started until it's night. The first kos is part of the Arba Kosos, and according to many poskim, not only the Kiddush aspect, the Dalet Kosos aspect, nothing should be done until it's called Vaday night. Vaday night means, let's say, 30 minutes after Shkia or something like that. I'm just mentioning it so that you shouldn't daven early and try to get a head start so you can get finished by Chatzos, because there's no point in getting a head start if you're starting off in the middle, because you're not missing the beginning. You'll be in the wrong time zone. That's the first thing that I'd like to mention. Here we are. We're in Siman Tov Ayin Gimel Sif Vav. That's where we're up to last time. Those who have Mishneh Berureh, I'll read the Mishneh Berureh. We started off with the learning this halacha, which discusses washing your hands for the karpas, and you make yachatz, and you put it away. And I just would just like to mention something which happened. I had a schus this week, and I'm going to mention it. Someone called me up. They were asked by one of their irreligious neighbors if they could maybe buy them some matzah, but just need regular pashut matzah. And they bought the matzah, and they didn't, and said just need regular rabbanut, don't need any fancy hechsher, the cheapest matzah that's there. And I told the person it has to be shmura matzah. You want to be yotze on Leil Seder, you have to eat shmura matzah. There is matzah that's sold that's kosher lePesach, and it's not shmura. In order to eat it on Pesach, it has to have an aspect of shmura, and not all kosher lePesach matzahs have that with them. Anyways, you have to have the matzah shmura put away for the afikomen, and you put it tachas hamapa, and you pick it up, and you say holach ma'anya umanishtana. Now, I'd like to mention the Mishneh Berureh over here, Sifkat and Samach, v'yagbia kara im kol ma she'oleh. You pick up the kara not only with the matzahs that are on it, but you also pick it up together with the shank bone and the egg, the whole tough ayin gimel, sif vav. We're in the Mishneh Berureh, sif katon samach. I'm sorry, I should have maybe got a text for you people if you want to look inside. You have it, Ranan? In my Mishneh Berureh, it's page 168, but I don't know what you have. Anyways, V'yigba hakara, again, Taf Ayin Gimel, Sif Vav in the middle. Im kol ma shaleh, ve'ein tzarich lahasir hatavshilim, you do not have to get rid of other tavshilim that are there. Pinch out for bigger view, I don't know. Oh, great, look at that. That's wonderful. Okay. Holach ma'anya, and then we say holach ma'anya. There's a big discussion what the nusach is. Is the nusach ke holach ma'anya, what the nusach is. But the tzarich la'omro b'kol ram. You have to say holach ma'anya b'kol ram, and the Sharet Zion brings a lavush, and I would just like to read to you the lavush, because a fantastically interesting thing. The lavush says is a marshal. It says as follows: Sheroi likroch besoch matpachas hayadayim v'yaniach ben kar mixus. You should wrap the piece for magid, the afikomen, in some kind of a cloth wrapper. Zeicher lemisharas tzros b'sum loisam. A reminder that in that time when they left Mitzrayim, they had a knapsack on their back with the bread that they were going. V'loi lahatzniya levad, and not just to put it away, but first you should put it on your shoulder. And many people actually have this custom to do. Some people actually get up and walk around the table with their family in order to be makayim this mitzvah. They put it on their back and they walk around with it, and that's a time sometimes that the kids want to steal the afikomen. So if you have those kind of exciting kids, what I suggest is before you get to this holach ma'anya, you tell them they shouldn't try to take the afikomen until later. That's very important. You walk around with it, you put it on your shoulder, and you say it. And here he says, you should say it in a loud voice. And you should pick up the kahara. You pick it up as it is. You don't have to take off the tafshilin. Why? The reason why you pick up the kahara is for simcha ba'alma, and you don't have to be particular to get all the other stuff off of it. It's not important, and you should continue on with that. Okay. And now the next part, the Mishneh Berureh says, you have to make sure that you say the text, or translate the text so that other people can understand it, or you farish lahem o'inyan, or you will have to explain to them what's going on. It's important that everybody should say it. This is not what's called a zogach, just to say it. It's important that people understand what's going on. You take the matzahs off the table. And the Magen Avraham says that this is not necessary to do, because nowadays we don't have these kind of practices of putting things on and taking things off or anything like that. So you could just leave it at the end of the table. And he says as follows: Mishneh Berureh Samach Vav, matzahs hamuchonos la'achila. We should not have, and this is actually, some people have a custom, as I mentioned in the earlier shiur, to make the kazesim in advance. That's a wonderful thing, but they should not be on the table. The only thing that should be on the table are the gimel matzahs that are there from for the Seder. Why do you take them off? To tell she'en rishon lechol until we say over that about Yetzias Mitzrayim. Now, I would just like to mention, to me, this is a little bit of a strange idea. who says that you're not allowed to eat until you say Sipur Yitzias Mitzrayim? That's like a given. Now, I don't really think there's any such halacha like that. What would happen if a person came home and he made Kiddush, and then he made Hamotzi, and then he ate matzah? Could he still say Magid?
To the sleeping son?
What's sleeping? We're only 20 minutes into the Seder, and we're ready to eating our matzah.
They changed the clocks in Beit Shemesh.
Oh, okay. But it's still only 8 o'clock, right? If you have a son that goes to sleep at 8, I'd like to borrow him. At any rate, so why is it really such a halacha that you're not supposed to eat until then? And there's a little bit of a discussion in the poskim about that issue. But as it is, the Mishneh Berureh says that that's what should be done. And that's Kadesh Yishalo Atiroikas. Then Mozgin lo miyad kos sheni. Kadesh Yishalo Atiroikas. Lama shoisin kos sheni kodem asugo. Why aren't we getting to the main course? V'meina ben chacham of malamdoi of ishtoi shalas v'lav hushal ma'atma v'yotam chacham mishalim zeh manishtana. And this is the concept of we have to ask the questions derech shaila utshuva. That's this idea. And kishamaschilim avodim yiru machzah akara shabola matzah lefonav v'kara haggadah. Now, I just want to point out, I'm not going to get involved in this in detail, but what is the answer to the 4 questions? Anybody want to tell me what the answer is?
Avadim Ayinu.
What?
Avadim Ayinu.
I want you to know that you're 100% right. Now, what's the answer to the 4 questions? How does that answer? I didn't ask you what the gematria was. I want to know what is the answer. So, it's a lot of times parents assume their kids know things and they don't necessarily know them. What happened, you have to explain that Avodah Vayinu Mitzrayim, and we had Avdus, and then we had Cherus, and therefore we have Simonim, which signify different aspects of that which is going on. You're not going to explain that just because you're going to hear everybody saying very nice Manishtana, and then you go into this Zoom mode, no pun intended, of saying Avodah Vayinu. Where did the kids get an answer? They didn't get an answer. You got to make sure that they understand the answer. And sometimes I even ask my kids afterwards, so what is the answer? Tell me it in your words. What is the answer? And, kids are busy. There's 2 questions about Avdus, 2 questions about Cherus, and there's 2 Daraisa, there's 2 Darabanan. They're busy with all kinds of shtick lach about the 4 kashas. But what is the answer to the 4 kashas? They don't necessarily know. And Mirz Hashem, this year they will, because you're going to share it with them. That's now the Mishneh Berureh in Ayin Aleph says something very important. Hakores ha'agada ve'ein lomer ba'aseba. You don't have to say it ba'aseba. Rak be'ema u'b'yira. This actually is a machlokus. There are those who disagree with this, but this is, most people do it be'ema u'b'yira. All right, we'll just leave that part. That's a diktuk aspect, but this is a important idea. Now, the Mishneh Berureh also discusses, and there are actually differences of opinion about this. Or Moshe Feinstein has an opinion, different ones have an opinion. The Haggadah is said derech shaila tshuva. That means there's a question that's prompted and asked. Even if your person is a Talmud Chacham, Kulanu Chacham, Kulanu Boinim, we have to ask and we have to answer. Is the asking just setting the tone, and the answer is the Haggadah, or is the question also part of the Haggadah? You understand what I'm asking you? What's the nafkamina? The nafkamina is called yeshivish nafkamina. The average person, I don't know about this year. This year, unfortunately, many people are not having guests by the Seder. I just would like to share with you something I said in the ladies' share yesterday, where we're going to say Mirz Hashem B'Leil HaSeder in Yerushalayim. But if we don't make it to Yerushalayim and we're going to be in Ramat Beit Shemesh Balel Seder, and we're going to say Kol Ditzich Yesed Yisach, Kol Ditzich Yesed Lechol. So many people are not going to be inviting in strangers into their house this year on Pesach. Svara Briut doesn't allow it, and probably your wife won't allow it either, for reasonable reasons. But how are we going to be Mekayim this aspect? So I suggest, and you give a suggestion to your wife, there probably is somebody in your neighborhood, a elderly person, infirmed or whatever, that's going to be making the Leil Seder. So when you're making your stuff for the Seder, put in a plastic container some extra food, and at least if you can't have the guest in your house, you should at least make sure that they get a supply of some homemade food, and be mesamech somebody on the Chag, that person who could be last year actually had their Chag in your house, but this year, because of whatever the situations are not allowed to. Make sure that you do that. But anyways, that's a side issue, but I don't think it's such a side issue. It's an important issue. The person who normally asks the questions by the Seder is a little kid. A little kid is called a katan. A katan cannot be moitzi a gadol, at least not a mitzvah deraisa. The mitzvah of magid is a mitzvah deraisa. So if I'd have my wife, well, she's going to ask me the 4 questions because it's just me and my wife by the Seder. So then that's fine. When she could say it, and I could be yotze with Shomei Ka'ona, as many poskim say, you could be yotze the mitzvah of Magid with Shomei Ka'ona. But if I'm going to have my little kid say it, so if Manish Tana is important, I have to go back and read it myself. Understand the point, the question I'm asking? You people with me?
Yes.
Okay. So take a look at the Mishneh Berureh. The nishal doesn't have to say manishtana. So the simple understanding of that is because manishtana is not part of the Seder, and in my opinion, this actually is a Gemara Mefureshes. Whoever is doing this stuff with the computer, if you could be real quick, you can find the Gemara. I think it's on Kufches. The Gemara says that there'll be somebody who put his Eved L'cheiros, would he be mahal him? And he said yes. So he said, now you're putter from saying manishtana. That's what the Gemara says. I can't remember. I think it's on the Kufches. That Gemara Shefra after the shir, I'll find it right away. Right? Anyway, is it there? Yeah, you have it.
I'm
It's
looking,
on the
yeah.
bottom of Amud Aleph. What did it say?
What
Is that the
Gemara?
right stuff? All right.
Ches?
Maybe I make a mistake. Maybe it's kofyud. I don't think it goes down straight towards the bottom. It doesn't spread out.
Okay, so continue. I'll look. Go ahead.
Okay, that's not important. Anyways, the bottom line, that Gemara says that if you understand, you should be mahalal. You should thank the person who set you free. So then you're part from Manishtan. It seems that the Manishtan is just a ploy to have it done. Derech Shel Tshuva. No, really, the Tshuva is the answer. When someone whets their appetite and you get them going, that they understand what's going on, that's what's really important. That's the simple understanding of this Mishneh Berureh. All right.
When you read on page 168, the last line where it says, the Korek Kol HaHaggadah, you're suggesting now the Manishtan is not part of the Kol HaHaggadah?
No, Sifkat and Ayin. Look at Sifkat and Ayin.
I heard that, but I'm asking you now that based on that last line, it's not part of the Haggadah?
That's right. That's what I'm suggesting. And
Okay.
there are many places will say that. No, this is just the primer.
Okay.
This is just the primer. That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. There are those who say that not every part is possible. You can do a Shemesh with a cotton. There's all different answers to this question, but I'm just pointing out that that idea. When you get into matzah, you have to pick it up. This is a fascinating idea. The Mechaber Shulchan Aruch says you have to whet their appetites. They have to look and wonder at the matzah. It's not enough It's not enough that you say it. You have to pick it up. And the Mishneh Berureh, and then Ramah says, "Yesh lagbia matzah prusa shi kalechem oini." V'chein kishagia lemoror. When you get to moror, yagbia, you pick it up. Okay, kishagia lefikach mabia kolechol kaisa biyadoi ad shechaisem go yisrael. Now, just very important, the people who are leading the Haggadah, so most of the Haggadahs have within them the directions of what to do. It's worthwhile. It's probably been a year for most of us since we've seen the Haggadah, maybe to take a look at it in advance to make sure that you're ready to go, you know what's going on, in order to do it properly. Now, I've said many times in my shiurim, and I'm going to say this again, the Sefer Mishneh Berureh was written by the Mishneh Berureh as a halachic sefer. He gleaned from all different poskim, and he tells us what comes out, what we're supposed to do. It's not given, it's not simple, and this is not the understanding according to many, that the Chavetz Chaim himself did everything like it says in the Mishneh Berureh. In other words, somebody will ask me, I'll give you an example of this, somebody will ask me if you should make a bracha on dessert. I will tell them, of course, the Mishneh Berureh says you should make a bracha on dessert. I don't make a bracha on dessert. Why don't I make a bracha on dessert? Because my father doesn't make a bracha on dessert. Why doesn't my father make a bracha on dessert? Because his Rosh Hashiva heard from the Chavetz Chaim that Sof Yomov he was chayzer, and he said nowadays you don't make a bracha on dessert. And I've checked this out from other sources also. There are many poskim who say Chavetz Chaim Sof Yomov changed his opinion and said you don't make a bracha on dessert, so I don't make a bracha on dessert. Someone will ask me, what should you do? So you should do what it says in the Mishneh Berureh. Because that Mishneh Berureh, that's the Sefer Halacha for Klal Yisrael. Somebody who has a Masorah otherwise, that's a different story. Here, we're going to learn, this is a Corona Halacha. This Halacha this year is special. It would have no significance on another year, but this year it actually does. I had a bris today, and the wine is put into the baby's mouth. Usually the moel dips his finger in the wine and puts it into the baby's mouth. That's like not a good thing to do nowadays. I don't think that you all understand that. And that's not what I did. Okay, I didn't put my finger in the wine. I didn't put my finger in the baby's mouth and do any of that stuff. And I think that it's understandable. We didn't do that. But Leila Seder, the minhag is that people dip their finger into the cup, and then they, but in a few different places. Now, I'll just say that somebody pointed out to me, even though a person will say, well, what's the big deal? I can only self-infect myself. That's not necessarily. There could be other people at the Seder. It could be that somebody walked outside and he got some kind of a debris on his face, and then he touched his face with his hands, and they put his hands into the wine. So unless when you came home, you undressed or you weren't outside, maybe since you took your shower for Yontif, you didn't do anything, then you don't have any problem. But if you're worried about somebody else by the Seder, you don't want to stick your finger in. So here the Ramah says as follows. You throw out a little bit with your finger. When you say those words, 15 times you dip. And the whole time that the Haggadah is being said, the matzah, the middle matzah is supposed to be exposed. However, when you take the pas, the kos in your hand, so now you're not paying attention to the pas anymore, so the pas, so to speak, gets embarrassed. So therefore, it should be covered. So either one of two props should be in place. Either the prop of the matzah should be in place, or the prop of the kos should be in place. But you should not have them both fighting for the same spot. That's a very important thing. Now take a look the etzbo, ayin dalit. The noagim lizog be'etzba. The etzba is your index finger. Ayin sham be'etzba elokimhu, because that symbolizes the finger of Hashem, which was used. Uduloi kumash koso banhogas haminhogim lizog bezeres hakotin, to use your pinky. And I've heard that the Chafetz Chaim himself, he actually used his pinky. So here, the Mishneh Berureh says, don't do it. But we do like the Mishneh Berureh says, we don't do like the Mishneh Berureh does. So this is halacha sefer. All right.
I just want to
And
say,
why is it?
the minhag that I have is dafka not to use the finger, just to spill.
Okay, fine.
It's,
Okay.
I think we're way ahead of the game.
Why is that?
It's some Kabbalah thing. I don't remember now.
Okay.
It's a specific. I'll have to look at it and see what the reason was.
Okay. All right. Huh? All right. Now, why is it that you're supposed to hold the kos? So the Mishneh Berureh says, because it's supposed to say shira al hayayin. Shira al hayayin means just like when a person, I guess we call it in our society, just like this thing is toasting. So when you have wine and you use the wine, that's like makes a joyous statement. You know, you're holding up your cup of wine and saying a robust statement. That is the idea of this thing. Okay. Okay. I'm going to skip to Tuf Ayin Hey. Okay. Yito Yadav v'yivarach al netilas yadayim. You wash your hands and you make al netilas yadayim. V'yikach hamatzos k'seder shemunachim. Before we get to that, I just would like to, Simcha, not yet. 1 second.
Okay.
But why are we washing our hands? Why are we washing our hands? Because we're eating bread, right? So there's one of those things, you know, there's sometimes what I call those questions that are unanswerable, but we're going to try to just mention them. A person, when he learns, he has to be careful not to touch himself in any covered areas. Otherwise, you have to wash his hands again. And then when a person goes to daven, he has to wash his hands because maybe he touched something which he wasn't able to touch. According to some, one has to wash your hands anyways. It did like for avodah. But the question is, if your hands are clean, so why are you washing them? Okay? We're not talking about losing the gel or anything like that. We're talking about, so we washed our hands for Karpas. Where have you been since Karpas? Nowheres. And what have you been doing? You've been saying the Agada. All of the Agada is Torah. It was not permissible for you to have been touching a unexposed area. So seemingly there should be no Hesach Hadas. So why in the world would you have to wash your hands again? Got the question? Hello? Is it understood, the question? So let's go. We'll see right now. The Bir Halacha asks this question. Simcha, you can do that if you want.
Okay.
Actually, you're the guy doing it, right, Simcha?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Bir Halacha.
Which one?
Yito Yodov.
Yitol Yadav. Okay. So let me see this one now.
I have no idea. Okay, whatever it is. Okay. I am Mishneh Berureh. The kibbutz atoli hatam behesach hadas. Since the reason you have to wash your hands is because of hesach hadas. You found it?
Nah. Okay. I can't find it. Okay.
Okay, so I'll just read it. If you know you didn't touch anything, that's problematic. Look at that. We're going to do Kadesh Urchatz. We're going to skip out on the Tilas Yadayim the second time.
Okay, found it.
Okay? V'im notal, and even if you did, ein lo levorech. Why? Because your hands are already clean from the first time. The first time you didn't make a bracha because you don't make a bracha, but now your hands are already clean and shomor, so you can't make a bracha. So v'mnotal ein lo levarach shemu bracha levatala. So that's like a very that doesn't go well with the minig and Klal Yisrael, right? So let's see what he says. We hold you have to wash your hands anyways, when you didn't have it in mind for achila upon them. Bottom line, what does the Bir Halacha say? You should not make a bracha when you should make a bracha when you wash for motzi matzah. Now here comes the best part. There's a way to get out of this problem. What's the way to get out of this problem? A person should touch his leg or something like that with his hand, and he's matam his yadayim. Once he's matam his yadayim, so now he's obligated to wash his hands with a bracha. So this is a great idea. What?
Don't we normally say yadayim askanios, and here's an hour or two in between? You might have that, like they show in all these Corona movies. Yeah.
I answered that question. Right now, you were saying divrei Torah, which you had to be shomer your yadayim.
I'm sorry, but with all these Corona things, we know how much people don't even know what they're touching with their hands in between. So you don't even realize it.
I knew that from the halacha of yadayim askanios. I didn't have to wait for Corona.
Well, it made it very clear to us. That's nice.
Yeah, but anyways, that's the bottom line. If he knows that he wasn't Masiyach Das, that would be the halacha. By the way, parrots,
Yes.
When you eat a long Shabbos meal, do you wash your hands in the middle?
Yeah, no.
Why not?
Then I'm using my hands to eat.
That long meal, that 2-hour meal that we're talking about, I doubt that you're eating all 2 hours of it.
No, okay.
All right. Anyways, I'm just pointing out things are very interesting. Halacha and halacha l'maisa. I don't think this is necessarily the minig in Klal Yisrael. In my Seder, I don't mention this at all. Those who know, know, and those who don't know, don't know. But that's what the Mishneh Berureh says. Now let's see the Mishneh Berureh. We'll discuss his parents a little bit. We already washed our hands. Since we said Agad and Halach, maybe that's what happened. So the Bir Halacha already said, but even if you can be chayshish for that, that's not going to be enough to allow you to make a bracha. That's just going to be a chashash. Okay. Now, when a person makes the bracha on the bread, so this is, you have 3 matzahs. You hold 3. You make a maitzi, and then you drop 1, and then you make the bracha on the matzah. Now, I just would like to mention there are different minhagim. So those of you who have minhagim al pi Kabbalah, that's fine. Those of you who don't have minhagim, that's also fine. I just like to mention this. There are many people who have a matzah deco, some kind of a matzah thing that has in it 3 different layers, 3 different pieces of cloth in between. So you call it maybe sola, yaga, whatever these 3 are. That's not, you let your grandchildren, your children tell you what they're for. There are those that are makbid b'dafka not to use those, or at least they put all the matzahs into one thing, because the matzahs, according to some, are supposed to touch each other. Okay? Not corona-like. They're supposed to touch each other, and whatever your minig is. When you take the matzahs, and obviously this is impossible to make the bracha on the matzah properly if it's inside that satchel. You definitely have to take it out. And you take all 3 matzahs, you make the bracha, amatzlachem and aretz, and you have the one which is used later on for kairach. You drop it afterwards, and then you make the bracha on achilas matzah. You make it on the 2 top matzahs. That's what's going on over here. We're going to see this inside. The middle one between the 2 whole ones. And you should hold it in your hands. And the Mishneh Berureh in Hilchos Pesach says that you shouldn't hold this. Is very important for a regular Shabbos. I see people do this, and it really disturbs me because for people, they hold the matzah with the challah and they pick it up, and that's incorrect. The Mishneh Berureh says when a person makes a bracha on bread, he's supposed to be touching the bread with all 10 fingers. And the Mishneh Berureh says if you're wearing gloves, take them off. It's supposed to be touching the bread with your 10 fingers directly. So here too, let's say there, a person is making a bracha on the bread. If you're holding it in the challah dekel, that's not good. You're supposed to have it by itself. It should be there. Okay. Before Chamatzah achilas matzah, v'achach yirtza me'ashlema ha'yoino u'me'aprusa shteim b'yachad yitkvelem b'melach. You do the brachas like we just said, and then you dip it into salt. We don't put it in. The Rishonah, the pasnaki ain't tzach melach. V'yochlem b'seiba b'yachad. If a person didn't eat b'seiba, he has to eat again. Kezayis mikol echad. How many kezesim do you have to eat? You have to eat 2 kezesim, one for maitzi, one for matzah. The Bir Halacha over here goes into a long question and answer whether you really do have to eat 2 or not. Bottom line, I don't want to get too involved in this issue because we're running out of time. Maybe we'll discuss it next week. But the bottom line, in the shiurim, there was a shir. Where do I have that piece of paper? Here it is. Simcha, could you get rid of this thing for a minute? I just want to. I'm gonna.
I got it.
How do I do this?
Is that from the ladies' shir?
Yeah. Could you do that? Could you get that?
Yeah, I'm going to look for that now.
Okay, fine. Anyways, okay, no, he has it. Seder. Anyways, there's a big shear and a little shear. You'll see on this sheet, which you're going to get in a minute. I don't know where you get it from exactly. So
I have to find it.
File.
What? You have it? You people have it already? All right, whatever. All right, anyways, the shear for a kazayas is, there's a machlokas aposkim. And when we discuss a mitzvah d'oraisa, we'll try to be machmer, do the big shear. When mitzvah d'rabbanan, we try to do the small shear. The shear of a kazayas, roughly, the machmer shear is 30 grams. And the shear of a kazayas, roughly, the most makel shear is 17 grams. Almost double. So if a person would eat 35 grams, how many kazesim did he eat?
According to the Mekel Stein, according to the Machmir, one.
Not even 1.5, 1 and a drop. So yes. I tell people that lechatchila you should shoot for, actually, I say, b'di'eved lechatchila you should shoot for at least 35 grams. Why? Because you have 35 grams, the halacha is b'di'eved, you're yaitz if you ate only 1 kazayas. If you're the Baal HaSeder, maybe you have to eat more. And I just will mention this, sometimes the Baal HaSeder is an older person and he really can't eat the 2 kazesim. So maybe you should have somebody else have the 2 kazesim instead of him. But
it's been posted.
What?
It's been posted on the chat.
Numbers on the chat.
I don't know what that is exactly, but whatever. I believe
the
you.
paper.
As long as you guys have it, that's good enough for me. I don't need to have it. I have it in paper. Okay, I have it for real. Okay. Anyways. So if a person should try at least to have 35 grams, so he has for sure 2 kazesim or 1 vade d'oraisa kazais. Also, it should be eaten in that amount of time, which it says l'chatchila 2 minutes, 4 minutes, or 9 minutes. There's a progression of different shiurim. I'd just like to mention, for somebody who finds it difficult, their mouth is dry, many places can say you can have water together with your matzah to help it go down. So if without the help of water, it's going to take you way too much time. It's not worthwhile to be a martyr and have some water together with your matzah. And you don't have to make a bracha on the water because you made a bracha on the wine. And you obviously made a bracha on the matzah. Okay? Very important. So a person should have 2 kesesim, one for motzi, one for matzah. And let's continue on in the halacha over here.
What was he said 35 grams to be sure you got to 30? I heard 35 grams.
Right, because because I wanted that you should be able to have, if you did 30, that's fine. But if you do 35, so 17 times 2.
34.
So one with 5 more grams, according to the Makel share, which according to many that's the Iker share, you did it l'chatchila. So just for 5 grams, got it? For 5 grams, and you're makayim a whole bunch more. Okay? All right. Okay. I'm skipping a few lines. You should take a kezayis of the maror. And you should dump it into the charoisis. I don't really understand much about this. I don't know if you leave it inside what actually happens, but the Shulchan Aruch seems to say that it will really draw out the bitterness of the maror, and we want the maror to taste bad. I just want to mention this. I mentioned last week a different nikuda about those macho guys who want to eat the horseradish, and I'd like to say something against them this week, a different nikuda. The halacha is bala matzah yatza, bala maror lo yatza. A person who woofs down the maror, he doesn't chew it, he just throws it into the back of his mouth and swallows it without chewing on it at all. So you're not yotza. You have to chew on it, you have to have it in your mouth. So if you're not such a macho guy to do all that, just stick with the romaine lettuce. Okay, that's.
But then there's a problem this year. Maybe I don't know if there'll be insect-free romaine lettuce. You have to wash it very good. Otherwise, you're over chametz, whatever, 5 lavim because you ate some insect.
Okay, is that what they say? There's not going to be.
I don't know. We don't know yet. I don't know. Next week we'll know.
but they're growing.
I don't know.
But they're okay. I would imagine that there's going to be, but I will tell you that it's worthwhile that to not. I imagine some of you. We're all old enough to know how to check for bugs in real romaine lettuce too. But if you don't, yes, I agree. One should eat the real maror, and you should grind it a little bit finer and just not woof it down. Okay. The maror is eaten not b'seiva. The obvious reason for that is because the whole idea of maror is to remind us of the fact that we were in bondage. And then you take it together. This is very important. The brachos that we say by the Leil HaSeder, according to some, actually the bracha of matzah, which matzah is the matzah that you're yaitza with? According to some, it's actually the matzah of afikomi. I think we spoke about 6 or 8 years ago, Shabbos HaGadol, for anybody who remembers. Not me, but I remember I spoke about it. That question, which one is the matzah? And Hillel, he ate, just imagine, good Sephardi food. He ate a lafa, like these temani pitas, a lafa with chasa and basar. The only thing was missing was a little bit of hummus, right? So, but I guess if you're a temani, you eat hummus too. but you're not actually allowed to have hummus in the sandwich because it'll be mevatel the tam. But at any rate, what they ate was a sandwich. Yeah, Simcha, you like it? It sounds good?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What are we worried about mevatel the tam of? Which part of it?
Anything, you're not allowed to have anything which is not mina. You're not allowed to eating. You're not allowed to have anything in there at the same time.
I mean, you have maror in there. It's mevatel the tam of anything else.
No. Mevatel the tam doesn't mean that you don't taste it, but the fact that you have something else in there neutralizes it, makes it like it's no good. Not overpower. Mevatel doesn't mean overpowering. Mevatel means like bittul chometz. It's a halachic term. That's mevatel the tam. At any rate,
what's the reason people don't use karosis in it?
That's just I can't remember right now. You don't need it. According to some, you don't need it. That's all.
If this is
mutar.
If we'll see. Is supposed to be the real mitzvah of maror, it should be there, no?
Yeah. So we'll see the Mishneh Berureh. Now, Hillel, the idea of Hillel, he said that the matzah that you ate with the matzah maror and the Pesach, you ate them all together. It was 3 mitzvahs done in one shot. That was his shita. That's not the Iker shita, but that's his shita, and that's why it's eaten like that. And since the maror, even though the maror regularly is eaten b'yeshiva, not b'seba, but here, since it's just a condiment, so to speak, in your sandwich, so therefore the whole of it is done like that. We'll see just your Mishneh Berureh. Yud Zayin, we'll start with the Mishneh Berureh. Yud Zayin. Tofels b'charayis shakricha zu izechel vidish kihilel v'hoi kayim mitzvahs charayis umar v'zeh shebekricha sharei lehoya oichel mor klal kaydem kricha zu. He never ate it before, so according to him, definitely you had to have charayis. V'gam zeh tzarich lenar charayis k'mamor sha'oich levikaydim. Okay. Then I told the time the kvar mitzvahs charayis v'tibul rishon. According to the first opinion, they already did it with Tibur Rishon. Since you're already eating it together with something else, so we don't have to worry about the fact that there could become something dangerous, and you can eat it without the charaisis in it. Okay, we'll stop over here. Thank you all very much. Have a good evening, and tomorrow night is supposed to be the Agudah Shir.